Before I introduce George, I just wanted to compliment and congratulate the other inductees. Jeff Moyer, what a man. Made his mark, not only here at Allen High School, but in the community. Going to any high school nowadays, and you're going to see a weight room, and that's the foundation of any successful program. And I don't care if it's softball, soccer, whatever. You think about football, but all sports now. Weightlifting, so important. And a guy like Jeff Moyer was one of those founding fathers who brought that to the high school level and made it so important to so many. And his legacy will go on through all the athletes here at Allen High School and throughout the Lehigh Valley. Mara Herzog. Yeah. 1981, I was 20 years old. I was a part-timer at the morning call. And, I got, over the last 40 years, I've got to cover a lot of state championship teams in football, a couple in boys basketball, several in girls basketball, and softball. We did, covered pretty much everything. But my very first state championship experience was with the 1981 William Allen. I think they went by the Chicks back then, the Chicks. And thank you for the name. But what a blast. And I was there that night at the old Hershey Park Arena, and Lou Saylor was head coach, and Ann Winter was the assistant, and they would not be denied. What a thrill that was as a young 20-year-old fresh reporter to have that experience, especially for my friend Colleen, who I've known since she was born. The day she was born, I knew Colleen, because her family and my family were very, very tight friends. And of course, Cooper. Scott Cooperman has been in the media, we tend to think of schools in terms of who's their AD. I've said this many times. And you tell me about, any school, the AD pops into the brain. Bob Hartman's here. When I think of Whitehall, I think of Bob Hartman first. And Allen High School was Scott, to me, was Scott Cooperman for many, many years. And all you ask from a media's perspective is to be treated like a professional. You want a place to sit, if you need a place to work after the game, whatever the game. Hot dog doesn't hurt. Hot dog and a Coke doesn't hurt. But Coop was nothing but professional, nothing but first class to me and every member of the media for a couple of decades. And we definitely appreciate what he did for this school. It's not easy sometimes. It's easy to maybe be at another school that wins championships and they don't have enough room in the wall for their banners. It's not always easy at an Allentown school, okay? But he did the very best he possibly could to provide the best experience for the Canary athletes. And I think he did one hell of a job, and I'm thrilled to see you tonight, and I wish you well in your retirement. Hope to join you someday very soon. Scott Cooperman. Now for the man I'm here to present. People ask me all the time, how did you get started in this? How did you want to be a sports writer? Well, you got to go back to the late 1960s. I grew up on the east side of Allentown. By now, most people know I'm a deer grad, so I can't hide it, even though I'm trying to wear little canary colors tonight. These are ducks. They're not canaries. They're little yellow ducks, but close enough for me. Anyway, my parents were members of the final class of Allentown High School in 1959, and so I grew up a Canary fan. We did not miss a Tuesday or Friday night at the Little Lester. We did not miss a football game on a Friday night in Allentown School District Stadium. So even though I live on the east side and I can see there from my backyard, I grew up a Canary fan. In fact, in 1969, Allen and Geroge renewed they never had a Thanksgiving Day game, but 1969 they played a Thanksgiving Day game. For the first time, Allentown and played Bethlehem, decided, hey, let's give this a try. And guess what? 1969, 14,000 people showed up on Thanksgiving afternoon at J. Brady Crumb Stadium, which was known as ASD Stadium at the time. And Derek was probably favored in that game. Derek was probably favored in 1969. And I know my family, we were nervous. I think my mom was wearing a big mum. We go out, and I'm thinking, because a couple years earlier, I think Allen lost the Derek like 60-12 or something like that. But this time the script flipped. Allen, that day, I got a copy from the Morning Call article, racked up nearly 500 yards in total offense. They had over nearly 250 on the ground. They had nearly 250 in the air, and they won the game by a final score of 40-6 in front of 14,000 people. Sadly, I'm not sure anybody would draw anywhere near that. If you put that in different attendances combined these days, I don't know, all the games, I don't know if you get to 14,000, but it was a special day. And the man who was at the center of that performance, a guy who threw 3 touchdown passes, he ran for nearly 100 yards, he passed for 233 yards, was that man right there, Mr. George Whary. It was the most decisive win in Allen Deere history. And it kind of ruined, Deere had an opportunity to win what they called the Big 7 conference back then. And because of the Allen victory, Deere had to share that title. Back then they played Neshaminy and Pennsbury. They were in the league. And so the Huskies had to share the title. What a great moment for the Canaries to not only win the game, but knock Deere out of an outright championship. But you talk about that era. I love that era. Those guys were as large as life to me as Wilt Chamberlain and Muhammad Ali and all the contemporary stars of that era. And George, I love watching him play. Maybe not the smoothest guy, but man, he had grit. He was tough, running the football. He was an accurate passer, and he spearheaded what turned out to be a 6-2-2 Allen season that senior year in 1969. That was just one of many big days that he had. George was a 3-year varsity starter from 1967 to 69. He was the starting quarterback in 69, again leading that team to that 6-2-2 record. In that 69 season, he was selected first team Big 7 conference, all-star quarterback and defensive back. He also threw for 17 passes. He rushed for 6 TDs. He led the team with 5 unbelievable defensive back. He had the 5 interceptions. By the way, in that 46 win, he also had an interception against Europe. His 1,017 passing yards in 69 made him the first quarterback in Allentown High School history to throw for over 1,000 yards in a season. He was named the William Allen High School Athlete of the Year, and received the Canary Good Sportsmanship Award, the Outstanding Back Award, and the MVP Award. He was selected second team All-State as a defensive back, and was also All-State honorable mention as a quarterback in 1969. He was selected to play in the Big 33 game that summer, and started as a defensive back in that game. He was awarded a football scholarship to Arizona State, and later transferred to Kutztown University and played in the 72, 73, and 74 seasons. He was named second team All-Conference as a quarterback as a sophomore, and he was named first team All-Conference defensive back as a junior and a senior, and an honorable mention All-State defensive back his senior year. As a senior, he won the Golden Bear of the Year award. He was honored in 2015 being named one of the top players in 100 years of Kutztown University football. He was also came back to the Valley, stayed here. He was the head coach of the Allen Canaries from 1986 to 1988, and his 1987 team posted a record of 7-4. He also coached one of the all-time great running backs in Allen High School history, Mr. Jeff Whary. His 87 team is still in the top 5 for the most wins in a single season at Allen in the past 52 years. And his win total as head coach is 6th all-time in Canary football history, which goes back 128 years. He went on and coached at other places, coached at Wilson, coached at, I believe, Hampton Valley. To me, he was always a Canary, and always a great, tough Canary. Had many interviews with him. Sometimes he was fun to be around. Sometimes, like to give the old reporter a little nudge. But I love this guy. He's one of the all-time greats. He taught here. He came back home downtown. Stayed here. Saw a lot of change, but it was always George Whary. That means he was always first class. Ladies and gentlemen, newest member of the Allen Hall of Fame, Mr. George Whary.